Are the gods we know today echoes of something far older? Is there a common connection between names like Allah, the moon god Nanna, the Canaanite god Baal, and the Anunnaki? Or are there shared aspects in the worship of celestial bodies and sacred symbols? These questions not only challenge us to explore the deep origins of religion, but also open up a journey to discover timeless connections. In this video, we will uncover hidden secrets, from familiar images like the crescent moon to the great mythologies that have shaped the beliefs of millions for thousands of years, revealing the threads linking the heavens, the earth, and the gods. These gods, with their infinite power and distinct symbols, may not just be mere objects of worship, but clues that help us recognize great past that once existed. If this is your first time visiting our channel, don't forget to like and subscribe so you can stay updated with our latest videos on spiritual topics, inner awakening, and philosophical insights. The crescent moon is everywhere, on flags, on mosques, woven into traditions. It's a symbol of faith, yet its origins trace back much farther than Islam. Before it became a sign of spiritual devotion in the Muslim world, the crescent moon represented something entirely different: a deity. The Sumerians called this moon god Nanna, later known as Sin, who ruled over time and the night sky. Ancient texts and archaeological records tell us that people revered him, kings sought his favor, and his influence stretched far beyond the borders of Sumer. Nanna's temples were built in cities like and Haran, centers of both religion and early scientific study. Nanna was not just a god of the night, he was a god of precision, measuring time, ruling the moon's phases, and overseeing the tides. His control over the cycles of nature made him immensely important to the Sumerians, Akkadians, and others who came after them. The phases of the moon were integral to daily life, dictating calendars, harvests, and rituals. Nanna's influence on the passage of time and natural cycles made him a central figure in ancient worship. Nanna wasn't alone in his divine lineage. He was the son of Enlil, one of the most powerful gods in the Sumerian pantheon. Enlil commanded the earth, the air, and the fate of humanity. Nanna, obedient to his father's will, carried out the divine orders, and his crescent moon symbol became sacred. Archaeological discoveries show that Nanna's worship spread throughout Mesopotamia and beyond. Temples dedicated to him, such as the magnificent ziggurat of were not only places of prayer but also centers for astronomical study. Priests who served in these temples would study the stars and chart the movements of celestial bodies, helping shape the understanding of the cosmos for future generations. However, as time passed, Nanna's worship began to evolve, especially as it spread to the Arabian Peninsula. In pre-Islamic Mecca, a new deity, Hubal, emerged as a central figure in the Kaaba, a sacred structure that housed multiple gods and idols. Some scholars suggest that Hubal's worship carried echoes of Nanna, with the crescent moon as a lasting symbol of lunar devotion. The similarities between Nanna's role and Hubal's influence point to an ongoing connection between these ancient traditions. As monotheism began to take root in the Arabian Peninsula, the worship of many gods, including Hubal, eventually gave way to the rise of Islam. The supreme god in Islam, Allah, absorbed the celestial legacy of earlier gods like Nanna. The crescent moon, once associated with the worship of lunar deities, became a symbol of the one true God. Though Nanna's temples fell and his name faded into history, the crescent moon survived, making its way from ancient temples to religious banners, from polytheistic rituals to a symbol in monotheistic faiths. The transition of the crescent moon from a symbol of lunar deities to a central emblem of Islam raises an intriguing question. Was this shift in symbolism purely by chance, or was there a deeper intention behind it? Could the Anunnaki, the ancient celestial beings associated with Nanna, have left behind more than just ruins and myths? Did they plant symbols meant to endure across millennia, influencing not only religious practice, but the very fabric of belief systems? The enduring presence of the crescent moon in modern faiths suggests that it may indeed be more than just a coincidence. It could be a symbol deeply connected to the divine order of the cosmos, one that transcends time and the rise of new religions. Whether intentional or not, the crescent moon has continued to represent a deeper connection to the universe, a reminder of the ancient gods who once ruled the heavens. The question remains, did the Anunnaki leave behind a legacy meant to influence future generations, or is the crescent moon simply a relic of ancient worship, still alive in the hearts of millions today? It's the 5th century. The deserts of Arabia stretch endlessly under the scorching sun, untouched by the rise of Islam that would emerge a century later. In this period, Arabia was a place of great cultural diversity, far more complex than many might realize. The region was home to Jews, Christians, Zoroastrians, and polytheists, all coexisting in a delicate balance. At the top of this diverse mix was Arabian polytheism, which played a central role in the spiritual life of the people. The city of Mecca, known as Bakka in ancient times, was a key spiritual hub, long before the birth of the Prophet Muhammad. It served as a crucial center of religious activity for the Arabian Peninsula, drawing people from across the region for pilgrimage and worship. At the heart of Mecca stood the Kaaba, an imposing, cube-shaped structure that would eventually become a symbol of monotheism. But in the 5th century, it was a shrine housing an array of idols, 360 in total, each representing a different god revered by the various tribes of Arabia. These tribes, each with their own deities, would make pilgrimages to Mecca, offering prayers and sacrifices to their gods. One of the most significant rituals was the act of circling the Kaaba, which mirrored the cycles of the moon. This practice would later influence Islamic worship, with the act of tawaf, the ritual circling of the Kaaba, becoming one of the core pillars of the Islamic faith. The Kaaba wasn't just a sacred space, it was a microcosm of the broader religious landscape of pre-Islamic Arabia, filled with deities and divine symbols from a variety of belief systems. The term Islam, meaning submission to God, raises an important question. Which god was to be worshipped in this space, and how did this blend of deities coexist? Names like Manaf and Duara appear, gods revered by different tribes. Their images were placed inside and around the Kaaba, and these deities symbolized a unique blend of Arabian spiritual traditions. The Kaaba, at that time, was a place where different beliefs were expressed in harmony. Every year, during the Lunar New Year, the tribes would set aside their conflicts and come together in Mecca for a pilgrimage. They would circle the Kaaba, offering sacrifices and performing rituals of prostration. This annual gathering was not just a religious event, it was a political and social one as well, as rival tribes came together in the name of shared worship. Some scholars believe that the act of encircling the Kaaba represented the 365 days of the year, symbolizing the celestial cycles that govern daily life. The movement of the tribes around the Kaaba mirrored the rhythms of the cosmos and the natural cycles that ruled the ancient world. Among the pantheon of gods worshipped in the Kaaba, one deity stood out as the chief figure: Hubal. Hubal was considered the most powerful god of the Kaaba and was especially venerated by the Quraysh, the tribe that served as the guardians of the shrine. Scholars believe that the Kaaba was primarily dedicated to Hubal during this period, and his image, likely depicted in human form, held a place of prominence within the shrine. Hubal's rise to prominence likely coincided with the transformation of Mecca from a local sanctuary to a broader spiritual center for the Arabian Peninsula. As Mecca grew in importance, so did the status of Hubal. Before Hubal's idol, rituals such as the casting of lots with arrows were carried out in the Kaaba, rituals deeply rooted in divination and fate. These practices reflected the belief that the gods could influence the fate of individuals and the course of events, and they were integral to the religious fabric of the time. Scholars also note that Hubal's name and attributes bear a striking resemblance to Baal, the chief god of the Canaanite pantheon. Baal was worshipped by the Phoenicians, whose influence spread across the ancient world, and it seems that Hubal carried echoes of this ancient tradition into the Arabian Peninsula. The similarities between Baal and Hubal are more than just coincidental. They suggest a deeper connection between the ancient religious systems of the Near East and the spiritual life of pre-Islamic Arabia. Baal's legacy, carried through the worship of Hubal, highlights how deeply interconnected ancient civilizations were in their spiritual practices. The Canaanite gods, with their influence over the natural world, fate, and society, laid the foundation for later deities like Hubal in Arabia. The worship of Hubal and other deities in the Kaaba represents a moment in history when the divine was understood through the lens of celestial power and cosmic cycles, a tradition that would later influence the spiritual revolution of Islam. Understanding these roots of worship and their evolution helps to illuminate the complex religious tapestry of Arabia before the rise of monotheism, and shows how the practices that would later become Islamic traditions were already in formation long before the advent of Islam itself. According to Ibn Kathir, one of the most respected historians in Islam, a pivotal event in the early history of Islam involved the restoration of the well of Zamzam, located near the Kaaba. This well, an important source of water for Mecca, had fallen into disrepair, and Abdul Muttalib, the grandfather of the Prophet Muhammad, took it upon himself to restore it. However, his actions were met with fierce opposition from the Quraysh, the tribe that served as the guardians of the Kaaba and the worshippers of Hubal, the chief deity of the shrine. The Quraysh saw Abdul Muttalib's efforts as a challenge to their authority, and the conflict escalated. In a moment of desperation, Abdul Muttalib made a vow. If he were blessed with 10 sons who grew to adulthood and were able to protect him, he would sacrifice one of them at the Kaaba as an offering to Allah. This story echoes a similar theme found in ancient mythologies. Baal, the chief god of the Canaanite pantheon, was often depicted as a warrior who battled the forces of chaos to bring order to the world. One of the most famous tales of Baal tells of his defeat of Yam, the sea god, to establish his rule over the earth and the heavens. Baal also faced Mot, the god of death, in a battle that symbolized the eternal struggle between life and death. Temples dedicated to Baal were scattered across the ancient Near East, from the bustling cities of Phoenicia to the high places of Canaan. These temples were not just places of worship, but also centers of ritual, where offerings, including animals and sometimes even humans, were made to ensure Baal's favor and protection. Baal's power and influence were undeniable, but his worship was controversial. In the Hebrew Bible, Baal is portrayed as the rival to Yahweh, the God of Israel, and the Israelites saw Baal worship as a direct threat to their monotheistic covenant. As a result, the name Baal became synonymous with idolatry and rebellion against their God. While Baal's worship is often associated with Canaan, the god's origins trace back to even older traditions, particularly those connected to the gods of Mesopotamia. Many scholars believe that Baal shares certain traits with Enlil, the chief god of the Sumerian Anunnaki. Like Baal, Enlil was a sky god, a powerful figure who controlled the weather, the storms, and the forces of nature. Some scholars argue that the sacrifices made to Baal, particularly the more extreme practices involving human offerings, were meant to appease celestial beings, gods who demanded devotion and sacrifices in the earliest myths of the ancient world. This connection between Baal and Enlil highlights the shared belief systems that spanned across cultures in the ancient Near East, with the celestial realm and the gods playing an integral role in the lives of the people. Another fascinating aspect of the Kaaba is the Black Stone, or Al-Hajar al-Aswad, which resides in the eastern corner of the Kaaba. This stone is one of the most sacred and mysterious relics in Islam. For centuries, millions of hands have reached out to touch it, and countless lips have kissed it. Yet the true story of the Black Stone remains shrouded in mystery, existing somewhere between myth and reality. Is it a fragment of the cosmos, a gift from the heavens, or is it a remnant of something far older, lost to time? Islamic tradition holds that the Black Stone was sent down from paradise when Ibrahim, known in the Bible as Abraham, and his son Ismail raised the Kaaba. They prayed for a special stone to mark the corner of the structure, and the angel Gabriel is said to have delivered it from the heavens. Initially, the stone is said to have gleamed with a pure white radiance, untouched by sin. However, over the centuries, the Black Stone has darkened, absorbing the sins of those who have touched it in repentance. Today, the stone rests in fragments, encased in a silver frame. The stone's history took a dramatic turn in 930 AD when a revolutionary sect known as the Karmatians desecrated the Kaaba, stealing the Black Stone and holding it hostage for over 20 years. When the stone was finally returned, it was no longer intact, broken into pieces by the chaos of time, conflict, and history. The Black Stone, much like the sacred relics of other ancient cultures, carries a deep connection to celestial symbolism, and its mysterious origins continue to spark debate and intrigue among historians, theologians, and archaeologists. The history of the Black Stone and its place in the Kaaba connects the Islamic world with older religious practices and myths. While Islam today sees the stone as a powerful symbol of faith and divine presence, its origins may be tied to ancient practices of celestial worship and sacrifice. The Black Stone's journey, from its heavenly origins to its captivity and eventual return, mirrors the cyclical nature of divine favor and the relationship between humanity and the gods. Whether the Black Stone is truly a gift from the heavens or a relic from an ancient, forgotten past, it stands as a symbol of the deep connection between the sacred and the divine, a connection that stretches across time and cultures, from the ancient Near East to the foundations of Islam. Could the Black Stone be a meteorite, a fragment of the cosmos hurled to Earth? Many people believe so. Throughout history, various cultures have revered celestial stones as divine gifts, viewing them as physical manifestations of the God's presence on Earth. The Black Stone, embedded in the corner of the Kaaba in Mecca, certainly fits this description. Its mysterious origin, darkened surface, and sacred status all suggest it could be something extraordinary, perhaps even from beyond our planet. The idea that the Black Stone could be a meteorite is compelling. Ancient cultures from the Greeks to the Arabs have historically placed great value on meteorites, associating them with the divine. They saw these stones as heavenly objects, falling from the sky to earth as blessings from the gods. The Black Stone, much like these revered celestial stones, may represent an object that connects the heavens with humanity. Its place in the Kaaba, one of Islam's most sacred sites, further enhances its divine status. It may be a relic that ties the earth to the cosmos, a physical manifestation of the celestial realm that people once believed to be a direct link to the gods. Others, however, suggest that the Black Stone is not a meteorite, but rather volcanic basalt or impact glass. These materials are formed by the intense heat and pressure of volcanic eruptions or meteorite impacts. While this theory doesn't carry the same romantic idea of a cosmic blessing, it suggests that the Black Stone could have originated from earthly forces beyond human comprehension. The stone could have formed through ancient natural processes that transformed ordinary rock into something extraordinarily significant, an object whose mystery has only deepened over time. Then there are those who believe that the Black Stone may be a relic from a time far earlier than Islam, possibly tied to the gods worshipped at the Kaaba before its transformation into a symbol of monotheism. If this theory holds any weight, the Black Stone could be a direct link to an ancient world and religious practices predating Islam by millennia. In fact, some scholars speculate that it could be a remnant from the era of the Sumerians, possibly even connected to the Anunnaki, the celestial beings mentioned in Sumerian mythology. The Anunnaki were thought to have descended from the heavens and played a significant role in shaping early civilizations. If the Black Stone indeed traces its origins to these ancient gods, its presence at the Kaaba might symbolize the enduring legacy of these divine beings. The connection between the Black Stone and the Anunnaki is intriguing, especially if we consider the possibility that the stone could be a marker left by those once worshipped as gods. The Anunnaki, often depicted as rulers from the heavens, are central figures in Sumerian myths. They were said to have controlled the cosmos and influenced the course of human history. Their temples were built with exacting precision, aligning with the stars and celestial bodies, creating a direct connection between their divine power and the heavens above. The Anunnaki were not just gods of the earth. They were celestial beings who shaped the world and human destiny. If the Black Stone is tied to them in some way, it would be a potent reminder of the ancient connection between the divine and the cosmos. A link that transcends time and continues to resonate through the Kaaba and the traditions of Islam. Some even propose that the Kaaba itself, with its sacred geometry and cosmic alignment, could be a site of ancient power, one tied to forces beyond our understanding. This theory suggests that the Kaaba wasn't merely a structure of religious significance. It could have been built with knowledge of celestial patterns and energies, knowledge passed down from an ancient civilization, or perhaps even extraterrestrial beings. The idea of the Kaaba as a place of cosmic power is intriguing because it ties the worship of Allah to the ancient reverence for the stars, the moon, and celestial events. The alignment of the Kaaba with the cosmos could suggest a deep, hidden purpose behind its design, one that goes beyond religious worship and into the realm of cosmic order. Could the black stone be an artifact of extraterrestrial origin? Perhaps it was part of an ancient technology, a device beyond comprehension, hidden in plain sight for millennia, its true purpose long forgotten. The idea of extraterrestrial influence on Earth is one that has been explored by many, particularly in the context of ancient astronaut theories. These theories suggest that advanced beings from other worlds may have visited Earth long ago, leaving behind relics and symbols that continue to baffle and inspire humanity. The black stone, with its mysterious origins and strange significance, fits neatly into this narrative. Could it be a piece of evidence left behind by beings who once walked the earth and shaped the course of human history? In the context of monotheistic traditions, Allah and Yahweh are considered to be the same divine being, worshipped by Jews, Christians, and Muslims alike. This shared identity ties both Yahweh and, by extension, Allah, back to the ancient figures of Enlil and Nanna, gods from Sumerian mythology. Enlil, the god of the sky, held dominion over the earth and the heavens, wielding immense power over the forces of nature. Nanna, the moon god, was deeply tied to the cycles of time and the celestial rhythms that governed ancient life. Both of these figures shaped the spiritual and natural order, establishing a direct connection between divine authority and the cosmos. Yahweh's judgment and authority, as described in the Hebrew Bible, can be seen as echoing the power of Enlil, while the lunar symbolism and cosmic order associated with Allah can be traced back to Nanna, the moon god. This connection between the Abrahamic faiths and the ancient Sumerian gods raises intriguing questions about the evolution of monotheism and its ties to ancient celestial worship. The heavens, in both traditions, are seen as a reflection of divine glory, with celestial events serving as signs of God's will. The Islamic calendar, rooted in lunar cycles, ties worship to the rhythms of the cosmos, much like the ancient lunar worship practiced by the Sumerians. The Anunnaki, those who came from the heavens, were equally connected to the stars and planets, just as later religions would look to the heavens for signs of divine intervention and guidance. Both the ancient traditions of the Anunnaki and the later religious systems point to a shared belief: the cosmos is not random. It is a map of divine intent, a reflection of the will of the gods. The Anunnaki, as rulers of the heavens and the earth, shaped humanity's spiritual understanding, and their myths centered around celestial power and divine hierarchy. These ideas laid the foundation for later religious systems, including Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. Could the worship of Allah and Yahweh, as different as it seems, have echoes of the Anunnaki's influence? Are the characteristics of Enlil and Nanna woven into the fabric of these later gods? Evidence of this ancient legacy may be hidden in plain sight, etched into sacred texts, ancient temples, and the rhythms of the cosmos. The black stone, the Kaaba, and the celestial symbolism inherent in these sacred structures all point to a deeper, older understanding of the connection between the divine and the universe. Are Yahweh and Allah the culmination of ancient myths, or are they the final echoes of gods who once walked the earth, leaving behind traces of their power in the stars? The shadow of the Anunnaki stretches across time, hidden in scripture, tradition, and the stars themselves. Perhaps the truth isn't lost. It's waiting right where it's always been, for those who are ready to see. Thank you for watching. If you learned something from this video, please like, subscribe to the Top Hidden Knowledge channel for more content on wisdom, spirituality, and personal growth. Or if you have time, check out other videos on this channel. Until next time.